For this blog entry, I'm going to talk a little bit about Ben and Rosamunde Zander's book, The Art of Possibility, in particular dealing with Chapter 7, The Way Things Are. In Chapter 7, they talk about dealing with life as it occurs, accepting things the way they are, and living within the moment in a general fashion. Accepting and dealing with life as it actually is and not as it should be, and not as an abstract concept or an abstract construct that we make up in order to figure things out, and viewing circumstances as they really exist and not in any kind of abstract term. In the chapter, they also, I should say, talk about downward spiral talk, which is something that really kind of caught my attention. They mention that it blocks and limits us from seeing things the way they actually are, because we kind of create trends in our own mind that aren't really there, or that aren't really in existence. And one of the examples that they give is talking about a concert that initially has 800 people attending, and then the next concert has 700 people attending, and so therefore we start to see this trend as, while we're having diminishing returns or diminishing attendance at our concerts, instead of dealing with the actual people that are in attendance and saying how great it is to have 700 people here, and being creative with those 700 viewers. And as I think about that, I can really relate to that in my teaching career, because as a music teacher, one of the things that we are often striving for is to keep students involved in our music programs, and we often have pressure from our administrators to make sure that we have a large number of students involved and participating in the programs that we have. Particularly in the circumstance that I find myself in now, one of the things that we have at our high school is a marching band that's kind of a competitive ensemble. And for the last 4 or 5 years, our numbers in our group have been pretty steady. But one of the things that has changed is the fact that we now have, in addition to bands at the high school level, we have orchestras at the high school level. So some of those students that might have participated in bands in the past have decided to play string instruments instead of wind and percussion instruments. The administrators don't quite view it that way. They see the fact that there are a few less students involved in the bands now than there have been in the past, and so they feel like there's someone to blame. They try to place the blame on the directors, instead of realizing that now, in addition to the fact that we have a marching band and concert band program, we also have students participating in the string orchestra, which actually increases the total number of students involved in our programs. Plus the fact that they don't look at the ensemble, the marching band, or the concert bands in terms of the students that are there. They don't really, they always want more. They want things to be the way they think they should be, instead of accepting them and dealing with them as they are. Not recognizing the groups for their successes and for the successful nature of the groups over a number of years. Instead, always pushing to have more and more, instead of dealing with what is actually there, which I think really relates well to this chapter in the book.